Corruption scandals in the finance sector have led the PM, Malcolm Turnbull, to rebuke the banks over their treatment of customers.
The truth is that despite the public's support offered at their time of need, our bankers have not always treated their customers as they should.
Those comments were made after ASIC, the corporate watchdog, accused Westpac of interest rate rigging, and the comments were made at a Westpac function yesterday. Similar allegations were made against the ANZ last month. Finance Minister Matthias Cormann is with us this morning. Minister, good morning to you.
Good morning.
This will worry, these allegations. Do you see the government launching an investigation like the Royal Commission into the unions on corruption?
No, we don't. I mean, broadly, our banking system is very well regulated. There are obviously issues that arise from time to time, and they're being addressed through the proper processes. I mean, what the Prime Minister said yesterday is, of course, right. He was reminding the banks that they don't only have a banking license, they've also got to be mindful of their social license. And but our regulation in Australia of our banking system is very robust, and by international standards it's very strong.
But the average Australian would be sitting there thinking, well, you reckon it's right to weed out corruption in the union movement and make big song and dance about it, Royal Commission, but then you let white-collar corruption get off easy.
Well, that's not right. Well,
we're talking much bigger dollars there.
Well, I would completely reject the proposition that we're letting white-collar crime get off easy. There are legal processes, there are law enforcement processes underway. The reason we're having this conversation is because the system is working. That is not the case in relation to the construction industry. The system used to work. We used to have a regulator for the construction industry called the Australian Building and Construction Commission, which we want to bring back for that purpose.
OK, so this corruption within the banks, you match that up with these new Panama leaks that have 800 wealthy Australians using Panama to dodge tax. And the average Australian goes, I'm paying my hard-earned cash, doing the right thing to get the budget back into surplus. And the big end of town, they're fiddling interest rates, they're dodging tax by putting their money overseas. They're getting off easy.
Well, that's not true. I mean, whenever anybody does anything wrong, they've got to have the book thrown at them. And in relation to the information that came out of the so-called Panama documents, the tax office is working very hard to crack down on anyone that has done anything wrong. And that is, of course, what we would expect them to do.
Right. But you've, in previous budgets, cut back resources to the tax office.
Well, that is not actually right. We inherited what is called an efficiency dividend from the previous government, which led to certain consequences when it comes to staff right across government. Now, we are actually, well...
That's politics for a cut.
Our government has actually significantly increased the powers of the tax commissioner. We've significantly increased the penalties when it comes to multinational tax avoidance. We're doing everything.
What about resources to find out these
the tax
cheats at the top end of
the tax commissioner has got all of the resources that he needs to fight multinational tax avoidance, and that is what he says again and again in relevant parliamentary inquiries.
Right. News out today, uni student loan debt's expected to blow out to $180 billion within the next decade. Can you confirm there'll be changes to higher education funding in the budget?
Well, you know, the budget will be delivered on the 3rd of May. There is an exposure here, which is the result of two decisions of the previous government. Namely, they expanded student loans to the vocational education and training sector, and they've also introduced what is called a demand-driven program into demand-driven formula into the higher education sector more broadly. So we've been grappling with these issues, and we've been focusing on how we can ensure that what we do in this space, as we do across government, is affordable and sustainable for the future. OK. How's
work on the budget going? Because you've been working your backside off at the moment. It's only a month away to go. Looks as though the current budget forecast for this year is on track.
Well, the numbers will be revealed on the 3rd of May. We are currently making decisions on budget measures, on decisions on spending reductions and spending increases, revenue adjustments and all of these sorts of matters. And there are things always in any budget that are outside our control, and we're focused on making every post a winner in relation to those things that are in our direct control.
What's your role in selling the budget? Because Joe Hockey's last budget was sold badly. He lost his job as a result of it. Fairfax Media article has said we're going to be seeing a lot more of you in the lead up to the election, suggesting that by staying on message you could bore for Australia. Are we going to get sick of your face?
Well, I'll let
Are you going to be the chief seller rather than
I'm one of
the spruiker?
I'm one of many sellers in the government. Obviously, from the Prime Minister down, all of us are focused on explaining what it is that we're doing and why, how we're working.
How are you going to do it differently? Because you basically botched the last message, the government, didn't it?
Well, I disagree with that. I mean, last year's budget was actually quite popular. That is when we delivered tax cuts for small business.
Yeah, Treasurer's gone, Prime Minister's gone.
Well, you know,
the fallout was pretty big.
I'm quite happy for you to keep dissecting the history. I mean, obviously, as a government, over the last 2.5 years, we've been focused on strengthening growth, creating more jobs and helping Australia be as successful as possible as we work through the transition from resource investment-driven growth to broader drivers of growth.
Yeah, okay. All right, maybe I'm a finance nerd, but I can't wait for May the 3rd. It's going to be a cracker. All right.
Thank you.
Good luck with it. Here's Sam.